just getting ready to leave Lake Chapala and the town of Ajijic here after spending 2 days. Beautiful weather. So Ajijic is a tiny, quaint little, I hesitate to call it a resort community because there aren't any resorts, but it is definitely a retirement spot and a place to come and relax. Just getting ready to hit the road after 2 days here. This is such a beautiful little relaxing place. You'll find that there's not a big population, there aren't any big hotels. Most of the expats living here are retired, and I think it's mainly because of the weather and the chill pace of life that exists here. It was a great place to rest for a couple of days for me, to charge up my batteries. And I'm hitting the road this morning for the Puerto Vallarta area, specifically Bucerías, which is just north of there. So I'm looking at about, I'm thinking a 5 or 6 hour motorcycle ride to get there. And the weather's great, not much wind, sun is out, so it's going to be a great day. I am on the road to Puerto Vallarta. More specifically, Bucerías, which is just north of PV. Looking at the map this morning, I see there's clearly 2 routes there that are roughly the same distance. One of them is the toll route, and the other one is the Carretera Libramiente, the free highway. So I think I'm going to take that. The time that Google Maps showed was very close for both. So I'm going to jinx myself and say that the free road is probably in pretty decent shape. However, I have been wrong on this before, but it's okay. It's 10:30. Got lots of time to get there. So there's this other community, you can see the sign coming up. That's also on the lake and very close to Ajijic. It's Xocotepec, and I have not been in there, but I've watched YouTube videos about it, and apparently it's quite nice as well. Quite a bit smaller than Ajijic, but if you're just looking to get away from it all, I would think that that's a good choice. Okay, I want to share a story that I initially was not gonna talk about, but I think it's important talk about it. It involves migrants trying to get to the US from various parts of the world, and I will start it as soon as I clear this intersection here. So about 3 days ago now, when I was originally, or 2 days ago when I was originally pulling into the Lake Chapala area, I was going through a small, super busy town, and there were some people standing in the middle of the street at one of the big speed bumps, and they were looking for some money, and they were a black family. So I stopped next to them. I kind of had a sense that they might be from Haiti, just because I know there's a lot of immigration from Haiti that comes through Mexico. So the gentleman spoke English. I asked him where he was from. He said Haiti. Exchanged a few words in French with him as well, and initially I just dug into my pocket and gave him a handful of change as I was on my bike in the middle of the street. I rode away, and it was just nagging at me. I got about 2 or 3 kilometers and I decided to go back and try to do something more substantial for them. So I've had some euros in my wallet since our trip to Portugal back in November. I think it was about 80 euros. So I went back, and his name's Alex. I asked him to come just to the side of the road. I just told him I wanted to do something to make his day a little bit easier. So I gave him the 80 euros and a couple hundred pesos for the day, because where he was, there's no way he could exchange those euros. He'd have to get to a bigger center. And wished him luck. And I asked him to, I gave him my YouTube account and asked him if he could send me a message when he makes it to the US. It's just, and I've seen other migrants in Mexico City. There was a family from, I think, Honduras that were also asking for help from passersby. And this is such a big problem with people trying to get to the US, and I think there's just no way, no good way for most of them to get into the US in any timely manner, so they end up stranded in Mexico, and a lot of times they're unable to work legally anyway, and they just don't fit in, or whatever the case may be. So I don't know what the answer is. You know, I don't know what impact. I started asking myself, is it better to give a little bit to a bunch of people or a lot to one person? Like, how are you impacting people the most? And I don't think there's a good answer to that. But anyway, I hope those guys make it. I actually told them, I said, when you get to the US, just keep going north till you get to the next border. The US is not the end all be all for migrants, and there are other countries in the world that are much more welcoming to them. I'm not sure exactly what these trucks are carrying. They look like, I don't want to sound silly, but they look like bamboos or reeds or something. They're loaded quite high. This is a cool area. There's pretty high mountains around, lots of farmland with these little irrigation canals. They're well organized. Oh, my first sign for Puerto Vallarta. Cool. There's another one of those trucks. I think it's time for a beverage stop.
Tacos, por favor. ¿Qué tacos de chorizo, por favor? Sí.
Just finished lunch. I don't even know the name of the town I'm in, but I'll put it down at the bottom of the screen. I think it's actually called America. Similar to America, but not quite. Anyway, I had tacos at the stand behind me here. And there's a family sitting next to me, and they left before me. I could hear them speak a little bit of English. Like the kids, I'm guessing the kids lived in the States with one of the parents, and they were down visiting, but they were a Mexican family. And when I was done and I went to pay, they told me that that family had actually paid for my tacos. So that's lovely. And I wish I would have said something to the boys, given them a sticker or whatever. Anyway, but a super nice gesture. I was reading about Lake Chapala as well, where I just left. So found out Lake Chapala is the biggest freshwater lake in Mexico. It's a huge lake. It's not very deep though. 7 to 10 meters is the maximum depth. And it's river fed and would normally flow into the Pacific Ocean, but no water has left the lake in 30 years because of evaporation and the lack of water coming from the river. It fills up, but it never drains out towards the ocean. So that's kind of interesting. And I've got about 175 kilometers left before I get to Puerto Vallarta. The roads have been good. Just gotta interrupt the video real quick to say this. If you're watching this and you're enjoying it and you like following me around on these trips, do me a favor, if you're not subscribed yet, please click subscribe. So if you look at the bottom of your screen right now on the right hand side, so down there should be a little logo with the motorcycle on it. Just click on that, it'll take you to a page, hit subscribe, then come back and finish the video. Lleno de Magna, por favor. Gracias. Dos, 300 y para usted. Gracias.
Muchas gracias.
Welcome to Mascota with cobblestone roads and giant speed bumps. That was some fantastic mountain riding. So welcome to Puerto Vallarta. At least the outskirts of PV. It's a little windy. Everybody has these cable cars now in Mexico. All the cities seem to have them, and the city of Mexico actually used them as all-out transit. There were several lines of them, if you will. Got a group of 3 motorcyclists behind me since I filled up. 2 BMWs and I think a V-Strom. And who can blame them on those amazing roads through the mountains? Really enjoyed that. And I'm properly tired now as a result. Oh, my friends just turned off. Welcome to Bucerías. Bucerías is a small community just north of the gigantic city of Puerto Vallarta. Bucerías has about 16,000 residents that are permanent, and it can more than double seasonally as Canadians and Americans flock here for winter holidays. So the coastline here extends about 29 kilometers. It's beautiful white sand. It does have a pretty cool feel to it. It's smaller, but not necessarily my type of city here in Mexico, just based on the fact that everything is catered towards, again, Canadian or American tourists, and you don't really get the same cultural feel. But if you're looking for just a chill beach vacation, this is definitely a place to consider. So I'm staying in a nice little Airbnb here, which is just 2 blocks from the beach. There are a number of smaller hotels. There aren't any big resort hotels in this city per se, but if you're looking for that, you're going to be on the Puerto Vallarta side, but you're going to get beaches that are a lot more crowded as well. There's everything you need here in terms of restaurants, cafes, bars. Everything seems to have a friendly atmosphere. A bit of a warning though, the average age here is a bit higher than what you might expect in other similar communities. So you do have a really big retiree population here that spend anywhere from 4 to 6 months under the sun on the beach. Just walking around the streets of Bucerías, I'm hearing a lot of English spoken, a lot of French, both Quebec French and France French. I actually spoke to a fella who used to live in Paris, now lives here permanently. He's 47 years old, Nicolas, if you're listening, salut. He moved here with 2 teenage kids who go to school in Spanish. His wife's opening a business here and he works here. So just living the dream. It's a permanent move for them to Mexico. And yeah, that's super cool to meet people like that and to see how this is an achievable thing if you want to do it, and well, I want to do it.